If you've ever felt like your podcast is sending your listeners to 10 different directions, like join my Facebook group, download this freebie, sign up for my newsletter, you know what I mean, and you know exactly how messy it feels. But what if you could send them to one place? That's why I chose Skool as the home of my podcast community. And today I'm going to show you exactly how it works. My community is called Moms Who Podcast, and after years of juggling lead magnets, Facebook groups, events, and scattered resources, I finally found Skool, which is an amazing all-in-one community-first platform. And once I set it up for myself, I realized that it wasn't just solving my own problems, but it actually created the most brilliant system for podcasters, because most podcasters are sending people in 100 different directions. But even with all those links, there's still no hub where listeners can actually connect. And when there is no clear next step, your listeners lose momentum. They finish your episode, they check your show notes, they get overwhelmed by all the options, and that's when they take no action at all, which means you've lost them and you've lost that chance to capture their email and get them into your world. I know this firsthand because for years I created different lead magnets and resources, but I barely promoted them because I didn't have a central place to send them. Overall, everything felt so disconnected, and honestly, it was confusing for me and for my audience. But when I found Skool, everything clicked. Suddenly, I had one URL that I could put everywhere. So instead of listing and giving out multiple links, I simply just say, join my community over on Skool. And then Skool becomes your hub instead of just another tool. And here's why it matters for podcasters. Podcasters need a simple call to action and a simple link after listening to your episode. Simply telling your podcast listeners and telling your audience to go to one link, that's way easier than rattling off 3 or 4 different resources. And let's be honest, people are not going to actually buy your high ticket offer if they have no clue who you are and if you haven't nurtured them at all. So just linking to your one-on-one coaching, it's valuable and you can link that. And I mean, I still do the same thing, but the overall goal should be to capture their email and get them over to a community where you can nurture them. And then because everything lives inside Skool, you're not losing people to distractions. All right, so now I'm going to visually show you what this means and what this actually looks like so that you can follow this process for yourself step by step. So for this example, I'm specifically talking about my top of funnel, which is YouTube and my podcast and Instagram and Threads. And so when somebody finds my YouTube channel and they are looking in the description of my YouTube video, they are automatically shown the link to go to my Skool community. It is right there, front and center in every description of my video. Similar with the podcast, every single episode links back to my Skool community. Now, I will say I'm actually in the process of auditing my podcast, so this step is not fully done for me yet. However, it is going to be really soon. The reason why that's important for me to note is because your podcast is evergreen. So even though, episode 1, I recorded over 3 years ago. And even though that episode is 3 years old, that episode is still able to be searched and found and listened to. So I would be doing myself a huge disservice if I did not go back and enter in the best way to reach me, contact me, work with me now, today, even though I recorded that 3 years ago. So I'm going to be doing this for myself. I'm auditing my show right now. And even in my episode in 2022, you're still going to be able to go to my Skool community in the show notes. And so it's incredibly important to go back and optimize those episodes so that you have the best chance of capturing that listener into your community. Next up, I have Instagram and Threads. So again, right inside of my Instagram bio, right inside of my Threads bio, I have the link to join my Skool community right there, front and center. And I don't even really post that often on Instagram or Threads. It's just kind of there. I do more so interaction on both of those platforms. I don't necessarily post a whole lot at all, actually, but people still find me. And I think it's because, if I'm commenting, I'm interacting, some people are naturally curious. So they go to my profile and then they end up clicking and they end up joining. So it's just really cool how even though it's a low key thing for me, I still get people joining from Instagram and Threads. And so what happens once they join the community? Well, I'm glad you asked. So once they join my Skool community, they immediately have access to the community, the classroom, and the calendar. Now let's take a peek at my community over on Skool, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. And so right away, you can see inside of Skool, we have the community tab, we have the classroom tab, and we have the calendar tab. So inside of the community, you can already see I tried to lay this out as step by step as I could. So as soon as you join, you'll see the community tab, and then you'll immediately see step 1, choose your path. And I have it laid out, so it doesn't even matter where you are in your journey. I'm going to show you exactly where to go. So if you haven't yet launched your podcast, you're going to want to click right here, which is going to take you to my Start Your Podcast mini course. And then because I have step 1, step 2, and step 3 here, in case you just got lost in step 1 and haven't yet did step 2 or 3, inside of Start Your Podcast and Grow Your Podcast mini course, if you click on it down here, it's going to have you do, this is step 2 and this is step 3. And that's why it says to do. I actually should probably put step 2, so I'm going to update that. But it has the to do down here. So as soon as you claim your prize, which yes, you get a prize if you go through the entire Start Your Podcast mini course. But after you do that, then there's prompts here for you to do step 2 and step 3. And it's the exact same way in the Grow Your Podcast mini course as well. So we have the community tab with your first 3 steps to do. And then we have the classrooms. This is actually going to look a lot different for me than somebody else who's joining the community. You're not going to see all of this mess. And I have some things that I'm actively working on down here. But right now, I'm working on these things. So I see these front and center, and the people who are actively in my beta program for the Podcast to Clients group program, they can see this too. So this is another thing that I love about Skool is I'm mapping out my step-by-step process to launch a podcast, to book clients that align with your offers. And I'm also mapping out my step-by-step audit course, again, to audit your show, optimize your show, refresh your show to get clients from your podcast with your aligned offer. And then we do calls every single week. So what's really cool is every single week I come in here and I pop in the replay for every single week. And I also give the timestamps and actually what we talked about. And they love it. Some people aren't able to come on the live call, so they really appreciate the fact that they can go back and watch the replay. So I love that that's available to them. And that Skool makes it really easy to do with native video, by the way. But what they see when they initially join is they see Start Your Podcast, Grow Your Podcast, and then they see my complete tech stack. So I get a lot of questions like, Pamela, what microphone do you suggest? What headphones? What, computer? What camera? All the things. So all of that is in this tech stack. And then going back to the 3 steps on my community page, this is going to take them right to those courses. So this is exactly what these 2 things are linked to, depending on where they're at once they join my community. And then I have some really fun events that are in the works that are down here. And then I'm also mapping out just a breakdown on exactly how you can work with me with just all the information ever. So that way, if anybody's interested, they can literally just go and see, okay, what's the best way to work with Pamela? And I'm going to have all of my different free options and the paid options and my high ticket options are all going to be inside of here. And then we have the calendar. So if we click on the calendar, you can see, again, we have a Podcast to Clients call every single week. And I do 1 call a month for my members of my free community. So all you have to do is just click and then you add it to your Google Calendar and it's just there. It's super easy. So again, for me, Skool replaces Kajabi and Zoom and Google Meet, and it just makes it so easy to keep everybody engaged in one place. As I'm nurturing people through my community, as I'm nurturing them through the classroom, and as I'm nurturing them through hosting monthly calls, even if you're in here for free, it's all going to funnel into ways to work with me. So for me, this has been a total game changer because all of these things that would normally be scattered throughout the web in multiple different places is all in one place. And so over time, Skool becomes the home for everything. My lead magnets, my trainings, replays, my events like my upcoming summit and my upcoming audio series, and most of all, a place where myself and my podcast listeners and my community and my audience can come together and feel connected. They can come in, they can get ideas, they can get my direct feedback. I encourage everybody to DM me because I will personally respond. They can post about their podcast launch, they can post questions, they can ask for guests, they can find a guest, they can find collaborations. And so the fact that everything is in one place makes it so easy for my online business and makes it so fun to connect with my listeners and people who potentially want to work with me. It's an easy way to nurture them. And then similar to having a Facebook group, you can actually ask them questions before they join so that you can capture their email as well. So friend, I know that if you're watching this, you are probably a podcaster, but maybe you're watching this and you haven't yet started your show. But I want to tell you that you do not need more links or any more tools to juggle. You need a hub where your listeners can connect with you, move deeper into your world, and ultimately become your clients. And that's exactly what Skool does. Skool makes it super easy to grow a community, nurture relationships, and sell your offers without the tech headache. So if you're a female entrepreneur who wants to start your podcast or grow your podcast to book those dreamy clients, join me inside my Skool community. All you have to do is click the link in the description below or go to skool.com/podcasters. See what I just did there? See how easy it is? One link, go there in the description. I hope to see you over there. Bye.